Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SK Tech. In today's video, we are going to discuss about HashSet in Java, and we are going to cover what is HashSet class in Java, how to create HashSet and method of the HashSet, and also we are going to see the example of the HashSet. Okay, so let's begin. So first is like what is HashSet? So HashSet is nothing but the implementation class of the set interface only. So we have already know the hierarchy of the collection framework like this. First is like iterable interface, then collection interface, then set interface, and inside this set there are multiple classes that is implementing the set interface. So basically HashSet is not directly implementing the set interface. There is a intermediate class that is called abstract set class that is going to provide the abstraction between the set and HashSet. So what is the abstraction here is going to provide? So basically this is the actual implementation of the set interface. It means it is going to implement all the methods available inside the set interface, and then after that this class is going to be extended by the HashSet, so that HashSet no need to implement all the methods available inside the set interface. It is going to implement only the method which is required. So this is kinds of the called abstraction here, and Java has provided a separate abstraction for each of the collection. Like we have seen in case of the list, there was abstract list. Okay, similar to that here it is like abstract set. So now let's see some key point that is going to bring HashSet for us that is going to help for our development. So first key point is like unordered and unsorted. So these are the properties acquired by the set interface itself. So basically it is going to maintain unordered list. It means that what are the elements that you are inserting, it is not going to give any guarantee that it is going to maintain the insertion order. And also unsorted. So what do you mean by unsorted? So unsorted means it is not going to sort the element while storing it. So this is that one property or one key point. Another key point like unique element. So as a property of the set interface, HashSet is going to maintain the unique element inside the list. Basically what are the elements that you are inserting, it is going to check internally the element is unique or not. Those element only is going to store, and rest of the like duplicate element it is going to remove automatically. Or you can say when you try to insert the duplicate element at the compile time, it is not going to throw any exception, but at the run time or you can say internally, it is going to check if there is any duplicate, then it is going to remove those duplicate element automatically. We will see with the help of the example also in a minute. Okay, next key point that we need to know like null elements. So HashSet is also allowed null element because null is types of the object and HashSet can contain the null element, but since HashSet is allowing only the unique element, so HashSet will allow only one null element. Okay, next is like non-synchronized. So similar to the any other collection like array list and linked list, HashSet is also going to be provide the non-synchronized list, meaning it is thread safe and we cannot use directly inside the multi-threaded environment, because non-synchronization means multiple threads can perform the operation on a single set. Okay, so this is meaning of the non-synchronization. If we want to use this HashSet inside the multi-threaded environment, Java has provided some built-in class or you can say utility class, and there are a couple of methods. Using that we will be able to create the HashSet to the thread safe. We will see as part of the multi-threading concept, but yes, there is a method using that we will be able to convert this HashSet to thread safe. Next key point is like underlying data structure. What kinds of data structure is uses internally the set? Basically it uses a mechanism called hashing to store the element. We will see what is hashing. So hashing is nothing but it's like a hash code. It is going to use the hash code method to calculate the hash code for each of the element which we are going to insert inside the HashSet, and according to that it is going to store the element. We will see in the detail with the help of the example, or you can say with the help of the diagram, while we are talking about the internal implementation of the HashSet. But at a high level, internally HashSet internally uses the hash map to store the element. So hash map is another kinds of the collection framework, but yes, it is not directly part of the collection hierarchy, and this is going to provide like store the value as a key value pair where key will be unique. We will see in detail when we are discussing about the hash map in upcoming video. Okay, next is like performance. So performance wise, all the operation like add, remove, contains methods have constant time complexity. It means that it is going to take constant time to perform the operation. Next is like implement set interface. So we know that has set is extending the abstract set, but yes, internally it is implementing the set interface only. Just that it is not directly implementing it, but it is implementing the, or you can say it is the implementation class of the set interface. Next is like initial capacity and load factor. So as we know, all the collection like list or set or queue, all are in dynamic in size. It means size is going to be increased automatically or going to be decreased automatically as per the insertion or removal of the element. So similar to that, hash set is also a dynamic in size, meaning there will be some default capacity that is assigned by the Java, that is nothing but the 16. If you create the hash set and if you are not providing any size, like in case of the array we need to provide the size, right? But in case of the hash set you no need to provide the size. Internally Java is going to provide some size like 16 in this case, that is the default capacity. And there is a concept called load factor. So load factor is nothing but it is like a concept like when we want to increase or when the Java wants to increase the size of the hash set. So 0.75 means when the capacity of the default size has reached to the 75%, then Java automatically increase the hash size. So this is called load factor, and there are some formula that is going to use to calculate the load factor. So by default Java has provided 0.75%, means after 75% full it is going to increase the size. And similarly after removal of the element, if it is less than the 75%, it is going to decrease it. It means it is going to provide, it is going to update the size of the hash set as 16 again. Okay. So these are some couple of the key points that we need to know about the hash set. Now let's see how we can create the hash set in Java. So basically hash set also provides a couple of the constructor. Using that we will be able to create the hash set. So first is like we will be able to create the hash set as empty. So empty hash set means internally Java is going to provide initial capacity as 16. That's what we have discussed as part of the key point. So this is the syntax for creating that hash set. Then here it is generic, okay, and then HS equal to, that is nothing but the object of the hash set, then new hash set, and then same data type. So this same data type. So this data type is denote like what kinds of data we want to insert it in the hash set. So at the compile time only compiler will get to know what kinds of data you want to insert it. Other than that, if you are trying to insert any element, it is going to throw the compile time error, so that it will let us know at the compile time only and we will be able to resolve it. And this is a default constructor because we are not providing any argument. It means initial capacity would be 16. Another way is like creating the hash set with providing the size. So this is another overloaded constructor. Syntax is same only. It's just that we will be able to provide the size also, that is in the integer format. Next overloaded constructor is like apart from providing the size, we will be able to provide the field ratio. So field ratio is nothing but it's a load factor, like on which basis. Let's say we want to increase the size by the Java automatically when the hash set is full with 80%, then we need to provide the 0.80. So there is some typo basically here. So basically the syntax would be like size and then field ratio. So two arguments would be there. We will see with the help of example also. Next way to create the hash set is like we can create the hash set with the existing collection also. Let's say we have some collection like array list or linked list, and we want to create the hash set and also we want to initialize it with the existing collection. So there is another overloaded constructor. Using that we will be able to create the hash set and also we will be provide to initial value, and we will be able to provide the initial value. So let's say hash set, then this is nothing but the generic object equal to new hash set, same data type again here. So this is the another way of creating the hash set with the existing collection. We will see this one also with the help of the example. Okay. Now let's see some couple of the methods available inside the hash sets. These are the method which is available inside the collection interface, and same method is acquired by the set interface and accordingly the implementation class like hash set. So we have already seen like in our previous video as part of the linked list or array list, Add method is used to add the element. The same method is going to be used here also. Add all means when we want to insert the multiple value. Clear, when we want to clear the hash set. Contains means when we want to check is there any, the specific element provided here is available or not. Contains are similar to the content, and likewise all these methods. So I would recommend you to just pause the video and go through all the methods. We are going to see the example also, just to remember like these are the methods is available as part of the Java 8. So we will be revising these methods again as part of the Java 8 concept. Other than that, these are some couple of the methods available inside the hash set, and we will be seeing with the help of example also. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDE and try to perform the basic operation of the hash set that we can use it. So let's say first we are going to create the hash set. So there are multiple ways to create the hash set, right? That's what we have seen. Let's try to use the default one. So hash set, and here we need to provide the generic. This is the optional, but it is good practice to provide the generic so that at compile time only compiler will let us know what kinds of data that you are inserting, and if you are inserting different types of data, it is going to throw the exception. So let's say we want to provide a string equal to new hash set. So here we are not providing any capacity. It means that default it is going to provide as a 16 of the initial capacity. And let's say how we can insert the element. So to insert the element, we will be using the add method and add all method. How we can use that? It's very simple. Object dot method name, and here we need to provide the value. So let's say we are going to provide like learn with, or you can say one string only, learn. And since we have provided the generic here as a string, if we try to insert any other data type other than string, it is going to throw some exception. So let's see how we can do. Let's say we are trying to insert the integer type. So you see here compiler will telling like the provided is integer type but required type is string. So this is the use of the generic, and it is very helpful at the compile time, or you can say while inserting the element only, it will let us know what kinds of data is allowed to insert. Okay, now let's try to insert some couple of more element like hs.add, let's say with. So this is the uses of the add method. Now let's see how we can use the add all method. So basically add all syntax is like we can provide the multiple value at the same time. So it's like this, we can use like hs.add all, and here you can see it is suggesting like it should be collection type. It means any kinds of collection, but that all collections should be of the string type because we have provided the string. Okay, now let's try to insert multiple string value. So how we can do that? So one way is like directly you can create the, you can use the arrays utility class, and there is a method called as list. It means that we are trying to insert the multiple list value. So since this is a set, but we are able to insert the list type because the syntax says that it should be of collection type. Okay, so here we need to provide the list of the value. Let's say SKTech, and let's try to insert some more element like Java and Java 8, let's say Spring, Hibernate, and Terminated. So this is the another way of inserting the multiple value using the add all method. Now let's try to print it using simple statement like sysout statement. Okay, and let's try to see the output, how the output would be look like. So it should be like hash set items, and here we need to provide like object like hatches. So let's run this program and see the output. So if you can see here, it is showing with first and Java at later point, but we have inserted learn first, right? So it means that we have seen like key points. It is not going to maintain the insertion order because it's work on the hashing concept, not on the indexing concept, like in the case of the array list, right? And also it is not sorting the element. If you see the order of the element and sorting of the element, it is not maintaining it. So these are the two key points that we had discussed, and now it is seeing it here. Also you can see here we are able to insert the multiple value using the add all method. Okay, now let's move ahead and see the another operation. So let's say we want to perform like, let's say to check is there any is it allowed to store the null value or not. So let's try to insert it. So let's try to create one object like string type s equal to null, and let's try to insert it. So ss.add s, and after that also let's try to print it. So we can see that null value is allowed to insert, and also it is printing it. Now let's see, is it allowing to insert the duplicate or not? As per the definition, it is not going to allow the duplicate, and also it is not going to throw any compile time error. So let's say we have already inserted Java and we are going to insert again Java. So we can see here it is not throwing any exception, but if you print this again at the runtime, or you can say internally at the runtime, it is going to remove those elements. So if you see here, Java is inserted one time only, right? Because second time whatever the Java we have inserted, it has been removed. That is because it is internally using the map concept, and this value is going to be treated as a key in the map based on the hash code. And since keys can be unique in case of the hash map, and based on that, it is going to allow only the unique element. Okay, now let's try to perform some other operation also. Like let's create the hash set from the another collection. So there is another overloaded constructor provided by the hash set. Using that, we will be able to create the hash set object with the existing collection. So let's create some existing collection like array list. You can create any kinds of the collection, but now let's say we want to create the array list of integer type. Okay, now let's give like list equal to new array list. Let's try to insert some element here like 101. Just copy paste this one multiple times to insert multiple value. You can use add all method also. For now I am not going to use. So let's say we have inserted some elements. So let's say we have this collection and we want to create the hash set with the existing collections. How we can do that? Simply we need to create the hash set object of type integer only, because the existing collection we are going to use as an integer. So that will be more compatible. Basically hash set 1 equal to new hash set. Okay, and here inside the constructor argument we will be able to provide this. So let's provide it here and let's try to print it this one. So let's write some statement like this: created hash set from the collection, and here we need to provide as 1. So let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so we can see here this hash set has created, and also it has been initialized the list of the element, or you can say collection of element that we have passed as an argument. So this is the another way of creating the hash set. If we have some different kinds of the collection and we want to create with the help of the existing collection to the hash set, so we will be able to do it. So one advantage could be, let's say array list can allow the duplicate element, right? We know the property of the array list as part of the discussion in our previous video. So let's try to insert some duplicate value here. So let's say 4 again, and let's say this one we are going to insert like 5. So one advantage of using this collection is like, let's say we have some collection which can contain the multiple duplicate element, and we want to remove those duplicate element. So instead of iterating the collection and performing the and checking the duplicate element and then removing it, we will be able to create the hash set by passing the array list, and in the case of the creation of the hash set, it will automatically remove the duplicate element, because hash set does not allow duplicate element. So if you run this program, you will see the output something like this. So if you see here, the duplicate element automatically removed. So this is the one of the example, or you can say one of the use case where we can go for the hash set of this type. So hash set creating from the another collection. Okay, now let's see another operation. So next operation is like accessing element. So how to access the element from the hash set? So as we have seen, as part of the array list or linked list, there was a method called get, right? And using that get method, we were able to get the element based on the indexes or object. So let's see those methods available here or not. So we can see here there is no get method available. Why? Because get method was working based on the indexing. So it was available only in case of the array list, linked list, but it is not available in case of the set. Then how we can get the element from the set? So there is some alternate approach. Using that, we will be able to get it. So one way is like just iterate it and get each element one by one using the iterator. So we know that there is a method called iterator. It is going to return the iterator types object, right? So how can we do that? h1.iterator. So you can see here return type is iterator only. So we will be able to get the iterator type object, some object here. And we know that this iterator interface provides some utility methods like hash next and remove. We have already seen the example also in case of the array list in our previous video, right? So using that we will be able to iterate it and we will be able to get all the element one by one. So how we can iterate it? We will need to use the while loop or any conditional loop like this, and using the object we will be able to call the hash next. So this method is going to return true or false based on the element available inside the hash set or not. Okay, and after that, let's say it is getting true, then we need to come inside the loop, and here we can use the another method, that is nothing but the next. So this next method is going to return the actual element. Okay, so this way we can able to print it. So let's try to add some statement here like accessing element just for the reading purpose. Let's try to run it and print it. So if you can see that using this iterator we will be able to get the element one by one. Okay, now let's try to perform the another operation, that is remove element. So how to perform the remove element? So how to perform the remove operation? So basically there are three types of the methods available to remove the element. One is like removing the particular element, another one is like removing the specific or you can say collection element, and next one is like remove the element if the particular condition is met. So this is the predicate which is available in the Java 8 only. I mean, we will be discussing more about the predicate as part of the Java 8 concept, but just think like this is some kinds of the filter where we need to provide some expression, that expression called as lambda expression. We will be seeing one example here and we will be discussing in detail as part of the Java 8 concept. So let's try to use all three methods. So first one we are going to use as a remove method. Let's try to use hs1 and then remove, and let's try to remove the 101. Okay, now let's try to print that statement again. So which is the statement? This is statement. So this is will be remove object. You can provide any statement here, it's just for the reading purpose. So we are using the remove method, and similar to that let's try to use the another method also, how we can remove the multiple element, and after that we are printing it. So let's try to remove the multiple element. So similar to the adding the multiple element, we have used like arrays.asList. Similar to that we can provide the multiple element here also, and those element is going to be removed. So the method is like remove all. So let's provide the argument here arrays.asList, and here let's provide the multiple value. Let's say we want to remove like 102 and 105, just it's an integer type only, right? And this. Now let's try to see how we can use the remove if method. So let's try to print some statement before and after, before and after. So here we are going to perform the operation on the HS hash set. So let's try to see how we can use it. So we need to provide the here like HS dot remove if, and here we need to provide predicate. So basically predicate expects some expression, that expression called as lambda expression. So it's very simple expression, like we need to provide some object like let's say s, you can provide any expression, and then variable name. Then using this variable name we need to provide some condition like let's say start with Java, or you can say J. Okay, so it's saying like s is already defined because we have already used it. Okay, so let's try to comment it out, because if you are not commenting it this s part, it is going to throw some exception, because this s is containing the null value and that null value is also contained as part of the collection, right? So I will try to demonstrate it here also. So let's try to run this program and see the output. So you will be seeing some exception also. So what it is saying, first it is saying like this variable is already defined. So let's try to give some different variable here. Yeah, so if you can see here, let's talk about this exception later, but let's see here remove method. So if you can see, this is the original list, and using the remove method with the specific object 101 has been removed, and after that we have printed it. Remove all means here we have removed like multiple element 102 105. So 102 105 has been removed from the list again. And remove if, so if you can see here, before that, before removing the operation there was an element like this. So if you see here, one element contain null value. So this method basically is going to check each and every element that is starting with the S or not, but there is an element called null, and if you are performing any operation on the null object, it is going to throw the null pointer exception. So to resolve this, we have to check the condition, or we need to remove this element. Okay, so let's try to first remove this element only. Okay, now let's run this program and see the output. So if you see here, using this expressor, basically it is going to check all the element starting with the J and is going to remove all those elements. So if you see here, before that it was like some element like starting with the Java, I mean J, and this one is also J, right? And it got found like one capital J because this is a small j, so it is like case sensitive, and those element is I mean all those elements which are matching with this case has been removed. So this is the use of the remove if method. This is was available as part of the Java 8 concept. We will be discussing more about the Java 8 concept in the Java 8 session. Now let's try to perform the another operation. So next operation that we want to perform is like iterate or loop through the hash set. So we have already seen one way to iterating the element, right, using the iterator. Now let's try to iterate through another loop. So we have like multiple loop, do, while loop, for each loop. Let's try to use the for each loop here. So what is the syntax for the for each? We need to provide the object name here, I mean collection object name here, because for loop or you can say for each loop will work only on the collection. So object, then we need to provide colon, and here we need to provide what kinds of the data it is going to return one by one. That is the concept of the for each. So it is going to return one by one each element. So since we have inserted the string type, right, so we need to provide here string type and some object like s. So since this is a local variable, so it is not throwing any exception, as like earlier it was showing s was already defined, and also we have removed it. Now let's try to print it like this, and let's try to add some statement also. Okay, now let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so you can see that it is iterating and able to iterate it and get the element one by one. So this is the one, this is the another way to iterate the element over the hash set collection. Now let's try to perform the next operation, like we want to use the you can say hash set with the user defined object. It means we want to insert the user defined. We have seen multiple operation, like we are able to insert the integer type, or you can say string type, right? These are all built in, right? That is Java provided. Let's say we have some own class, and those class we want to insert it as part of the hash set. How you can do that? So let's say we have a consumer class. This class we have created as part of our previous video. Let's try to insert it. So how we can do that? So we need to create the another hash set, because these two hash set we have created with this specific type only, like string type, and another one we have created as a integer type. So similar way we need to create the hash set of type consumer type. So how we can do that? It's very simple. Hash set, here we need to provide that type. So let's say we want to provide like consumer. So what is consumer? Consumer is nothing but our custom user defined object, or you can say class. Let's say provide the h2 new hash set, and here using this h2 only we will be able to insert the element. So if you can see here, it is allowing means it is suggesting like it is required to insert the element of type consumer. So let's try to create couple of the object of the consumer type, and then we will be insert it. How we can create the object? It's very simple, because we have defined one constructor here. Using this constructor we are going to create the object. So like consumer c1 equal to new consumer, and here we need to provide integer value, some id and name. So let's say learn. Let's try to create another couple of objects like c2, c3, and here let's try to change the value also, SKTech 9521. That's our channel name basically. And how we can insert it? So we can use the add and add all both method here. Let's try to add both. So c1 we have inserted it. Now let's try to add use the add all method. Add all. Then here if you can see, since we are using IntelliJ ID, it's automatically suggesting what kinds of the data it is required. So it should be a collection type of type consumer only, right? So let's try to use that. So let's try to use the same utility class only, arrays dot as list, and here we need to provide the list of the consumer type. So C2, C3, and let's try to print it HS2, and let's try to add some statement also. Now let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so we can see here has set with the user defined object, that's what we have printed it here, and we have not given any colon, so it is printing the objects. So object is nothing but what are the elements that we have inserted of consumer type, which contain this learn with Java SKT. So if we see here in case of the user defined data type also, it is not maintaining any insertion order. We have inserted learn first, but it is showing like with, and also it is not sorting it. So there is another class available inside the hasset implementation, that is tree set. We will see that how we can use the tree set and how it is going to sort the element. Okay, so these are some couple of the methods that we wanted to perform today. Now let's see the next topic that we want to discuss, basically that is nothing but the internal working of the hash set. So now let's try to see first the internal implementation in the Java directly, then we will go with the diagram. So if we see here, we are trying to insert the element using the add method. So if you go inside the add method, basically control and then enter. So here if you see, it is internally trying to create the one map, and what are the key that we have passed here, it is putting as a key. There is a put method inside the map method to add the element, and it is inserting some constant value. Okay, so this is constant value. If you go here, you will be able to see like dummy value to associate with the object in the map. So that is nothing but it is required key value. So value can be anything, or you can say multiple duplicate value, but key can be unique. So based on this mapping only, or you can say based on this map operation only, it is able to insert the unique element. And also this element directly it is not inserting as a key. Internally it is going to create in a hash code format. So if you go inside again, you see that based on the key it is trying to create some hash code. So if you go this method, there is some default logic implemented by the Java. So see, there are some logic here to define or to calculate the hash code, and based on the hash code it is going to prepare one arrays, and it is going to insert that value. So this is how the internally it is working. Now let's go to the slide and let's try to demonstrate it here how it is happening. So let's say we have created one hash set of type is string type, and we are trying to insert one element as hello. So what it will do internally, it will create one hash map, and then what are the values that we are putting it here, it will insert as a key. So this is called key and this is called value. Okay, so this is called key and this is called value, and it is not directly inserting this hello value inside the map. Basically it will form some array format. So first what it will do, it will try to generate the hash code. We have seen like it is trying to generate the hash code. There was some logic implemented by the Java internally, right? So based on the hash code, what it will do, it will try to calculate the index from the hash code. So let's say it got some hash code like 3. Okay, it can be anything, just for the demonstration purpose. Let's say it try to get the index as a 3. So what it is going to do, so it is going to form as an array, something like this. So this is the array it is going to form, and we know that array is working based on the indexing. But before inserting the element, it is trying to perform this operation actually. So let's say this time it got 3, so it will go inside the 3 index and it will insert the element here. So how it is going to maintain the uniqueness? So first of all, let's say first element we have inserted hello, it got it created the map, then generated the hash code, right? And then from the hash code it got some indexing, so 3, so it's inserted here 3. Now let's say we are trying to insert the hello value again. So what it will do, it will go here, it will generate the hash code, then again it will try to get the index from the hash code, and let's say this time also it is going to get the 3. So it is trying to insert first inside the map. So what it will see, okay, 3 is already available. Okay, so here only it will escalate it, like this element is duplicate, so we no need to insert it. Now let's say we are trying to insert some other value. So what it will do, again it will get the key, then generate the hash code, then try to get the index. Let's say it got, this time it got 2. Okay, so what it will do, it will insert the element on the second position. Again, let's say we inserted the element, some element, it calculated the hash code, and this time let's say it got 1. What it will do, it will insert the element in the first position, or you can say first index. This is the general operation that is going to perform. But if you see this structure, so what basically it is doing, what will happen, let's say if we are trying to insert any element, okay, it will get the hash code, it will try to get the index from the hash code. Let's say this time also it got 1 only, right? So what it will try to do, it will check here on the first index there are some element, because we already got the element, it got inserted here, right? Now this time what it will do, since the value is different, so how it will compare, so first it will get the index. If the index is available and there is some element, it will try to compare the value. Let's say this time is the different value. If it is the same value, it will not insert it. But if it is a different value but the indexing is same, in this case let's say 1, what it will do, internally it will form the linked list structure. So this time this value is going to insert on the next node. We have already seen, right, linked list working on the linked list data structure, that is nothing but the NOR format, where it will store the value and it will store the key as an address of the next element. So this is how internally it will maintain. So if the key is same, it will not insert it, because map will allow only the unique key. But if key is different, it will try to get the hash code. Hash code can be anything. So, but if there is a same hash code for the different value, it will try to insert the element on the position, but as form of the linked list. And this is the way it is going to insert the element, each and everything. And similar to the insertion, let's say we want to get the element. How it is going to get the element, because in one index it can be multiple value, right? In some index it might be one value, but in another index it might be multiple value. How it is going to get the value? So similar way, like how it is inserting the element, calculating the hash code, then getting the index and then inserting it, similar to that it is going to perform the same operation for getting the element. So let's say we want to get the element of hello, so it will come inside, it will put inside the map, then before putting it, it will check, it will generate the hash code, then from the hash code it will try to get the index. Let's say it got 3, so on the third index it will see, okay, there are multiple value, because here you can see there are 2 value. So what it will do, it will try to compare the value also. So that's why it is a good practice to use the hash code and equal method together to make sure that it is going to perform all the operation correctly, because this is the actual use of the hash code and equal. Because if it is using only hash code method to generate the hash code, then get the key and put in the value, it will not be able to perform it all the operation, because there might be chance that for the multiple value the hash code is same, right? Because let's say if it is trying to get the hash code based on the ASCII value, I means addition of all the ASCII value. So hello, and if you say, if you insert any other element like same character in a different order, for that also it is going to get the same hash code. So but those value are different, right, actually, but hash code is same. So internally it is going to use the equal method also. In case of the ambiguity, you can say, in case of the same hash code, it is going to compare the value, and if value is different, then it is going to insert in this format, like linked list format. But if value is also same, then anyway it is going to it is not going to insert the value, because hash map does not allow multiple, or you can say duplicate key. So this is what the internal structure of the hash set looks like. And also you can see here hash set using the hash map. So this is also the internal structure of the hash map. So when you talk about the hash map internal structure, the same flow is going to be followed, because hash set is top of the hash map, right? Because if we are using hash set, it is internally using the hash map, and this is the flow of the hash map. So internal structure of the hash map and hash set is same. This is very important interview question. So you need to know how the hash set or hash map internally works. Okay. So that's all for today's video. In next upcoming video, we are going to discuss about the map interface. That's what we have seen here. Hash map, one of the use case where it is going to insert the value as a key and value format, where key will be unique. So we are going to discuss all the map interface, all their implementation classes one by one in next upcoming video. So stay tuned. We'll meet you soon. Thank you.